Welcome to Zero Credibility Sports. Today we're going to talk about football. I'm joined today with Justin.
Yo.
And Harry.
Hello.
We're just going to talk about the BPL. We're going to go down to the table. We're going to go down the table from the start. We're going to work from the top to the bottom.
It's time we update that. It's EPL.
EPL?
Barkley no longer sponsored.
Whatever. No one gives a shit.
Okay, we're talking about the English Premier League. Liverpool on top right now. And with Man City, both of them gunning for the Premier League title. The only realistic suitors for the title.
Mm-hmm.
So Liverpool are leading by 4 points.
Yep.
They've only lost one game and they lost to City away. Away. And then City have lost 3 games. They lost to Crystal Palace. They lost to Liverpool. They lost to Crystal Palace, lost to Chelsea, and lost to Leicester City. Yes, I got it right.
2 of those losses when Fernandinho was out, though.
Yeah.
And I think Silva didn't really play much.
Yeah, no, Silva wasn't there for both of those
but
games.
But Fernandinho was the biggest difference, I thought.
You think so? I think Silva. But they're both equally as important.
I think in those 2 games, Fernandinho was missed more. But okay, whatever.
Yeah. And so now let's just... I think we have to compare who has the better chance of... let's go through and dissect each team. So what are Liverpool's strengths compared to Man City?
I mean, really, I think there's only one question when you talk about these 2 teams.
Yeah.
Right? Which is, can Liverpool actually win the league this season? I think that's the only question. Right?
Okay. I think they're well suited.
Because Man City are defending champs.
Yeah.
Right? And they have the pedigree.
Yeah.
They know what it takes to win. They have a manager that's won it before as well. Liverpool have been in this position as well, have always choked. So there's really only one. Yeah, in my mind, there's really only one question: can Liverpool actually win the league this season? And now we're more than halfway through the season.
Yeah.
And coming off a result,
they've been grinding a few wins.
Coming off a
shaky results.
Coming off a result which 4-3 at 4-3 Palace.
Yeah.
I think they were 4-2 up though. To be fair, right?
Yeah. But Can Liverpool actually win it this season? Can they actually do it?
The year they choked, they lost at Palace.
Yeah.
4-3.
No.
Best result.
You're right. And my friend, who's a big Liverpool fan, says that in his opinion, that's when...
No, hold on. Wasn't it 3-3?
Oh, 3-3, yeah. Dwight Gale scored twice or something.
Yeah, but they were up.
They were up, yeah.
They were going for the goal difference. I wouldn't put it past... It was because they lost to Chelsea. That was when they lost it.
Yeah.
Right.
But that... So it was the Chelsea game... the Gerrard slip, and then after that was the Palace game.
Yeah.
The thing
I know the Palace didn't make a difference.
No, it did.
They had to go for the win, or they had to. I think Man City had to lose rather than draw. But at the end of the day, it was the Chelsea game. And I know Gerrard slipped, but Suarez didn't score a goal in 45 minutes. If he was the best player in the world, best player in the EPL, he could have found a way to score. So yes, Gerrard slipped. Okay, let's not let it go.
Yep. And okay. Anyways, continue, Justin.
I forgot what I was going to say.
Sorry.
Harry.
Just move on. I forgot what I was going to say.
All right, anyways, do you think they'll get through then, Liverpool?
Oh, that's right. You were asking, can Liverpool win? That's the right. Can they hold on to that lead?
Yeah.
What can they?
I think let's go through that.
I'm presenting the question.
You know what? I think I've seen enough. I've seen enough to know that I think they might be. This is the best equipped season compared to the other seasons, I reckon. They have decent depth compared to last season. They have Shaqiri that could come on and score goals.
Yep.
They got who else? Who else has been scoring all the goals?
Man, the front 3.
No, there's front 3, but then there's they have reserves.
And
Shaqiri to come off the bench.
Sturridge chipped in with the important goal.
Sturridge as well.
Chelsea.
Yeah, so they have a decent depth, but I think Man City have better
only
depth.
In those certain positions.
The only
I think they don't have depth at defensive and midfield really, right?
You could argue that. But I think they have a better fixture list as well because they're not in the FA Cup, they're not in the League Cup. Man City are about to finish up the League Cup in Feb when they go against Chelsea. Right. And then they're still in the FA Cup, which because
a couple of extra games.
Yeah, but it still makes a difference.
That's true.
They played their first teams against Burton, both games. They played a lot of their first team. They played Aguero in both of the Burton games, and they played
Burton 3 times, right?
Twice. They played Kevin De Bruyne in both games.
I think he needed match practice.
Yeah, he's coming back from injury.
Yeah, okay.
No, but I think it's because they have Aguero, they exchange it with, or he shares the burden with
Gabriel
Jesus.
Yeah,
So
Jesus, yeah.
I don't think they.
There's a clear number one though.
Yeah.
Aguero, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I mean, they're just. I mean, if you're trying to compare the two teams, it looks like Liverpool have a better runway.
That's true.
Yeah,
That's true.
They're both in the Champions League, which is going to happen soon in like 2-3 weeks or so.
Liverpool's playing
Bayern. They're
Very
playing
excited
Bayern.
for the Champions League coming back.
Liverpool playing Bayern and Man City playing some
easy game,
have
right?
an easy game.
Okay, so they have the advantage there,
Yeah,
right? Because you would expect them to.
I think Liverpool will go through because Bayern's been looking a bit weak, and they're gonna go through a regen process.
I think Liverpool have a great shot because of Klopp.
Yeah, and
He has
Klopp,
all
yeah.
this experience playing Bayern.
Yeah,
That's true. That's true. But I think Liverpool will probably more likely than not to play their first string in the second leg, whereas you can sort of foresee Man City not
Playing
having
their-
to play their first team in the second leg.
they're playing
because
Schalke. They're playing
because
Schalke,
they're probably like 3-0 up or 4-0 up.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we'll see. So have we covered that well enough, or do you want to go in more depth?
I mean, the question still remains: Can
Yeah.
Liverpool win the league?
I think they will.
Well, do
And
you think so?
As a Man United fan, I prefer for Liverpool to
Okay.
win than City.
okay,
right?
that's not the question.
No, I think they can.
He said yes.
I think they can, and
What do you think will happen? Do you think they will? Who do
I
you
think they'll
will win?
grind their way through. I think they won't be devastating like last season, scoring
So
4-0. They'll do a lot of 2-1s, 1-0s because they've been doing that over the last few weeks against
Can
like
you get the
Brighton.
goal difference up?
The goal difference is I got here.
Is it close or?
Yeah, it's quite close.
Four.
Okay,
goals.
so Man City's in the
Man
lead.
City's scoring more, but we've talked about this at the start of season where Liverpool is not as explosive or as they're not playing all out attacking as much compared to last year because they're focusing more on the defense. That's why they're always bringing up the news article or the discussion about Van Dijk being the best defender in the Premier League right now.
Right.
And I don't think there's any real debate to that because if you watch him play, he's a monster. Look for a guy that size, being able to pass the ball that well and moving that quick. He is the modern defender, that every team wants.
Yeah, he's arguably the best in the world right now, right?
Yeah. So
Well, the reason why I ask isn't because, if they're scoring or not scoring, it's because ultimately that's how the title may come
Yeah.
to be decided.
Yeah.
So in other words, Liverpool needs to drop 4 points.
yeah,
Because Man City, if they drop 4 points, Man City will obviously still have the ascendancy in the goal difference.
yeah,
So that's all you need. And I can foresee that, certainly. In other words, okay, Liverpool needs to drop 4 more points than City does, right? So that's 2 draws. I can see that. So if you're asking me, I think City, because they just have better
they have a better squad in general.
depth.
Yeah,
So they can withstand an injury to a key player, to
Yeah.
say Silva or De Bruyne, right? Whereas Liverpool cannot. They cannot withstand an injury to, obviously, goalkeeper and no one can, okay, but Van Dijk
Yeah.
or Salah, for example.
Yeah.
And I think they're quite short defensively on the right-hand side. I mean, who I don't know, are they coming back anytime soon? Matip and Gomez, was it?
Matip
and
doesn't
Trent-
play, right?
Oh, right, sorry, excuse me.
Gomez is the more important
and Trent Alexander-Arnold.
back.
He's back, is he?
He's back.
Okay.
I think I'm
And-
not worried about that. I'm just worried about their midfield because John Henson is not, for me. He's like
It lacks creativity, right?
yeah, he's like he can keep the ball and he works hard, but like does he give you the extra quality?
Yeah.
Like when you're 1 goal down.
It lacks that. It
not?
does lack that.
Yeah.
Now, Shaqiri can give you that.
Now he's a great like championship team squad player that you can come off the bench, or when you need to rest players, he could come on and
I think
help
he
you
plays
out, you know?
in more. They play different, like 4-2-3-1.
Yeah, it's like-
against the sort of lesser teams,
lesser
right?
teams. Yeah, and like for
So-
example, United when it was 1-1, then Xherdan Shaqiri came on to kill United.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
well,
that's his role. That every team usually have that that extra quality, extra sauce on the bench that they take on when they need that help.
yeah, but I think against the top tier teams, where they'll still have to play, right? They still
Yeah,
have to play.
yeah. We'll see.
Or they don't have to play City anymore.
They play City twice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well,
One was a draw and one was a loss.
Yeah.
I
So in
We'll
the
see.
big games, I'm not sure if Liverpool, the midfield can have a lot of possession.
I think they can beat Tottenham. I think
Okay,
the
maybe.
person I'm worried about is Chelsea, because Chelsea might not. We'll get to them, but like Chelsea beat City. Don't forget that Chelsea beat City 2-0 quite convincingly.
That's one game.
Yeah, there's one game, but they still beat City, right? So
I mean, City lost to Crystal Palace, didn't they? So is that does
no,
that
but
make
they lost a
Crystal
player.
Palace
I think
great?
they lost a player against Crystal Palace. There were 10 men.
Oh, okay. But any result can happen, and I wouldn't expect Chelsea if they would play Man City to win. You know, at a high rate at all.
Okay.
Chelsea's not doing well. Which are they next on the rundown? No, they're not. Tottenham is next on the rundown, right? So,
Yeah, so I guess we covered Liverpool and City.
well,
Or is
what
there
about
anything
you?
else
Hold
you
on.
want,
So
Justin?
you asked a question. So how about you answer?
So Peter, your answer is like you think Liverpool can win it. Harry, you're like, nah, Man City's going to win it.
I think so.
For me, I think Man City's going to win it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't trust Liverpool to be able to pull through, but I have some good reasons for that.
Right.
One is I think that Liverpool, on the contrary to what you guys think, actually, I think Liverpool lack depth in their front three. If one of those guys goes down, I think Liverpool's in big trouble.
Do you think that Trident won't work with one piece
Yep.
gone?
I think if one of them goes down, like they're in trouble, and that is something that Liverpool fans as well actually have said. Like they're most scared of an injury in their front three, especially Salah, obviously,
Yeah.
and Mane. I think in the back, obviously Van Dijk is the guy, but the feeling I think is that they've covered in midfield. I think people tend to overlook Fabinho and Naby Keita.
Navigator is good, but
Fabinho in that game in the game against United, he was a beast.
solid.
Yeah, he was the best player, I think.
Yeah, and Naby Keita as well.
And Shakira. But
Yeah, Naby Keita as well coming in very nicely.
And
Actually.
the Ox is coming back.
Yeah, so I think it's a bit of there is a bit of how to say reinforcement in the midfield. Is that front three where you guys throw out names Shaqiri and Daniel Sturridge. Daniel Sturridge has barely played this season. When he has played, which is 3 games, he scored. That's true.
a key goal against you. That's why I said it was scored a key goal. I wouldn't say he's a key player.
Yeah, but let's say Salah goes down and you put Sturridge in. Are you confident?
I think you'll put Shakira in.
Regardless, are you confident? You're probably not.
I'm confident he will score, but I'm just not confident he will last.
So
because he's got glass.
You're talking about Sturridge or
Yeah, Sturridge, because he's got a hamstring issue that I feel like he cannot. His body is not made for the Premier League.
So my
Maybe
reason
for
is that
professional
like if there's an injury in that forward line, I think Liverpool are in trouble. Second one is that so far this season, every team has gone through a rough patch.
Yeah,
Liverpool have not. I think
Yeah.
historically, if you look at the Premier League and historically you look at even football in general, anywhere in the world, teams will always go through a bit of a rough patch, a bit of a blip.
except the Arsenal Invincible.
Yeah, maybe except Arsenal Invincible. That's the one big exception.
Yeah.
But they'll go through a blip. And, even having said that, a blip doesn't need to mean successive
a loss.
losses.
Yeah.
Right? It could
can
mean
just be
successive
mean
draws.
Yeah, 2 draws.
Right.
And
No, I
like you
understand.
said, Harry, like Liverpool only need to draw twice for Man City to catch up.
Yeah.
So, the Palace result was a very interesting result because Liverpool historically have been known, or rather in recent history, I'm not going to say historically because I'm not going to pretend to know Liverpool in the 80s and 70s and stuff like
Bill
that.
Shankly, back in Bill Shankly's days.
Yeah, but in recent history, I guess they've been known as a team that they get up for the big games, but they drop points against the small teams.
Yeah.
That result against Crystal Palace, I think, split Liverpool fans in half because half of them were saying like, "Oh, this is a game that we would have lost."
Yeah.
2-3 seasons ago, we would have lost this game.
And 1-0 against Brighton as well.
Yep.
We would have drew that game and not break through. Yeah.
And the other half was saying like, "Oh no, this is the start of the wobble, right? This is a team that if we have championship aspirations, we should be putting away easily." So the other half is, well, like championship winning teams find a way to grind out a result.
Yeah, that's the way I look at it.
So
yeah.
it's the way that the story is being told.
Yeah.
But
narrative.
regardless, I think despite Liverpool being in front, I still think City are in the best position to win it because of one potential injury in the forward line, and 2, Liverpool have yet to go through that rough patch, and they will before the end of the season. They will.
Okay, we'll see.
And I think this is almost as good as it gets going to the finishing line. In other words,
there's a great Premier
Liverpool
League
is
race.
getting a 4-point head start, which is about right, don't you think? In other words, if Man City has a 4-point head start, they're going to win, right? Don't you think? If it was, right?
I don't know. Like the Premier League, anything can happen, right? What if someone takes down Silva again or Fernandinho?
Okay, but these things happen. We can't predict it. But my point is, if that both teams are tied, I think most people will say Man City will.
I'd say
win.
yeah.
But I think right now the fact that Liverpool has a 4-point head start, it means it's neck and neck going forward.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So
So-
I pick Liverpool. You two pick City. Let's just make it easy like that.
Right.
Let's move on to Tottenham. So big news: they lost Harry Kane, Dele Ali, and I think they lost
My boy
someone else.
Son.
Yeah, Son's
Went to the
away
Asian
for the
Cup.
Asian Cup. No, but
Came
they got
back.
they
'Cause they
got knocked
crashed out.
Yeah, they crashed out.
Oh, so is he going to be back soon?
Dude, is
Back
Australia
already.
still in the Asian Cup?
No, out.
So it's what, Iran, Japan?
I can't remember.
Damn. Wait, let's do a quick sidebar.
Oh, let's do a detour.
Yeah.
So-
I was gonna take a look. I'm just interested. Like, Japan, Iran.
I find-
Are these the
Qatar.
semifinals?
So
Ah.
I think Japan and Iran, based on the odds, Japan and Iran are the.
I think these are the
supposed
two strongest,
winners. The
two strongest teams there, Japan and Iran.
Yeah, and then this is like the battle between the oil Gulf states or whatever.
Who would usually be? Would Japan be the favorite anyway?
It's between. I think the top four are usually South Korea, Australia, Japan, Iran.
Yeah.
Australia were defending champions.
Yep.
So
Who did they lose to?
Like one of the.
Qatar, UAE, or something.
I think it's UAE because I think no, maybe even not. It could have been like Kuwait or Jordan or something like that.
No. Oh yeah, Australia.
No, UAE, right?
Yeah, UAE. See.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So Song, I guess he played last week, and so he's back.
Yeah, he's back.
He's
He's
back
back
now,
for
yeah.
this midweek.
I'm not sure. Did he play the cup game?
No, he didn't play the cup game. Llorente played.
Yeah.
Poor Llorente.
Yeah, but Son was killing it
Yeah, Son was
before we had to leave.
since the second half of last season, even to the World Cup when they beat Germany, he's been on fire. Like
Remember a few weeks ago, I gave you the tip for
to
your
pick him,
fantasy Premier League.
But
I
that
said
week,
Son.
but that week he didn't do shit. It was the
The
weeks
week after. Oh shit! I was off by 1 week.
Yeah, but
I was like Son. Yeah, I give you inside tip, Son.
yeah. Anyways, so yeah, I think the budding question is, will they make top four? They just got knocked out the League Cup with that 1-0 lead, and they just got knocked out of the FA Cup against Palace, a 2-0 loss.
Yep.
So
Bring out the table. So they have a 7-point cushion.
4 points.
no, 4 points. 4 points
what
ahead
about
of Chelsea. Oh, you're talking about from
Yeah,
Arsenal?
Oh, you're
Yeah.
talking from
Top four.
fifth. Yeah.
Yeah.
So okay, that's a pretty sizable lead, right? 7 points. But how long is Kane out?
For a long time, for a few weeks, 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
okay.
think it's out.
It's
And
not as long as I.
Dele is out as well.
Yeah.
For how long? 3 weeks?
Less, I think less.
No, 3 or 4 weeks. As
3 or
well.
4 weeks. Okay.
From now or from
now,
when
from-
they were injured?
From last week's game.
From last week's game.
So they'll
From
probably
last
miss
week's league game.
3-4 weeks.
Hmm.
Okay, they still have Ericsson. They'll have Son back. I don't know. I have to
This
look at the
is like what
schedule.
I said a few times ago. We were talking about whether they're able to sustain this. I told you they don't have any depth,
I agree.
and
Yeah, but I'm going to factor in the 7-point lead, right? I mean, are they going to? This is a top 4 finish. That's what we're talking about. So it's
no, and
you know these teams all have like if anything, United. You're looking up for United to.
no.
Like it's not really Arsenal that Tottenham should be worried about, right?
yeah. But I'm
In fact, United should be probably third.
no, I'm
really.
also basing it on
When
the
they finish.
injuries on Kane. Kane has a metatarsal injury, which means it's his foot. It's like what Rooney had, and that's a very very difficult injury to kind of like
right.
figure out. So and
I think if Spurs finish in the top 4, they'll be 4th. And
yeah, I agree.
and even
Because
then
they can't sign. They haven't signed anyone as well.
Even then, I question whether they can finish in the top 4. But then, I guess the thinking sort of goes, all right. So if they're not in the top 4, who will beat them into the top 4?
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and that is probably for me a harder question to answer.
Yeah.
I think the problem with Spurs at the moment, and I think this is something that people foresaw, they lack squad depth.
Yeah.
And they lack depth. And now, they probably have injuries or unavailabilities to the 3 of their biggest players.
Yeah.
Kane, Son, Dele Ali.
Yeah.
Ericsson is
Son's back now, right?
yeah, Son's back now,
Yeah.
but he was missing for the past 3 games, right?
Yeah.
But they didn't.
So-
did they drop any points?
They got knocked out
But
and they lost
Harry
to
Winks
United.
scored that.
They lost to United.
My namesake. Harry Winks scored a last minute.
Yeah,
winner,
last minute winner
right?
against Wolves or some small team, right? 4-3.
Fulham.
4-3. Yeah,
Fulham.
4-3. Yeah, the
2-1,
bottom
2-1.
of the table.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
they lost to United.
Yeah, they lost to United, and then they got knocked
not
out.
because of squad depth, but because of Hurricane and Dele. He couldn't finish.
And then they got knocked out of the cup.
Right.
So
Which I think, I don't think he wanted. He played a big. I don't think Ericsson played for the FA Cup, but he really wanted to win the Carabao Cup and got knocked out on penalty. So it doesn't look like, at least this year, they're going to win a trophy.
No, I agree.
Right?
So that's a great segue into the next big question, actually, which is Pochettino.
Will he stay?
Or will he go?
I read a great, or rather, a question that was posed, which was, Pochettino is running off opportunities, to win a trophy and really prove himself.
Yeah.
So in many ways, Pochettino is probably at his hottest stock right now.
Yeah.
And right now, I can think, and I've said this for many weeks, he has two options, really.
Yeah.
One is the United one,
And one's
but
Real
I think the
Madrid.
real one is the Madrid job.
Yeah, the one that they haven't been talking about too much. I think so too, because Solari is struggling.
Yeah. So, if it'll be interesting to see if he stays with this Spurs team, if Madrid comes in, knowing that, next year, if he doesn't win a trophy again, or maybe they don't do as well or whatever, he might never be in the frame for that job again.
Yeah. No, I agree.
And right now, he's got the highest leverage, right?
Yep.
Two of the three best teams, or two of the three, the most biggest teams in the world have a managerial opening. Well, most likely have a managerial opening at the end of the season.
Yep.
So, I gut feeling, I think he will. I don't know where he'll go, but I think he will say goodbye to Tottenham.
Yeah, I'm just looking, that they have Dortmund in the Champions League. And
Yeah.
Wait, but if he says goodbye, doesn't that mean he's leaving?
Yeah.
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 That means,
He's
he's going into the Champions League against Dortmund, potentially without Ali and Kane. I mean, So what they're going to do there? Do you think they're going to get knocked out of that
I
too?
think they'll get knocked out.
They probably will. Now,
Right.
I think
Marcus Royce is going to give them a field day.
Tottenham isn't. I think if you just look at the, even if they have full health, I think most people will say, well, more people than not will say Tottenham is probably the better team anyway because they're in the Bundesliga,
they're
right?
first, yeah.
So I don't think
I
it's a
wouldn't say
shame.
it's that. It's just that.
I don't think it's no shame if they lose to Dortmund because I think Tottenham, by coming out of the group, I think that's a win for them because remember they were really at the
They were
depth.
struggling. They were third. They
Right,
won
they-
in the
and
last
they'd
game
had to
against
beat-
Milan.
Harry Kane did have a good game, a rare good game in a big moment against Barca. Without
Harry,
Messi.
why do you have this agenda against Harry? Okay, anyway, we'll talk about this another day. At the end of the season, we'll cap it out.
So for them to be in the Champions League knockout, that's a win for them. That's sort of like their achievement for this year because it doesn't look like anything else is going to happen, right?
Yeah.
So,
So you think? Okay, let's continue back to the original question. So you think Poch will leave
I
after
don't
the
think he
season?
said anything.
I think that, in all honesty,
That-
I think that if it's the United job, I'm not sure that he'd leave, but I think he'd definitely leave for the Madrid job.
Okay.
Um,
What will be your answer?
I don't know what's happening. In other words, Manchester United, and correct me if I'm wrong, Manchester United seems to like Pochettino, right? They
Yeah.
know him they're in the same league. They seem to like him, right?
I think everyone's been sounding off, like, whoever they go to probably likes. I don't know whether Sir Alex likes him, but I remember Sir Alex talking up about him before, saying
But-
he's a good manager.
But because they're around, they look at the league, they
Yeah.
watch the league every week. They have an idea of who he is, who he's like. So-
everyone throws his name in the hat. Everyone's been throwing
Right.
his name
I'm
in the hat.
not sure if Real Madrid, whoever the power brokers are, whether it's Florentino Perez or Sergio Ramos,
Yep.
may like or may get along with Pochettino. We all like him, but I don't know if they may like him. They might not. They might have a personality clash. I don't know.
It seems like Real Madrid.
So I'm not sure if Real Madrid may actually be interested in Pochettino.
I think they are because it's one of those things where like whenever any vacancy opens up, right? That people always throw names out, right?
Yeah.
Who could come in, right? And when there's always manager openings at the biggest clubs, there's only a handful of names which come up because there's actually only a handful of names that really have the credibility or the so-called I guess pedigree in some cases to actually take the job, right?
Yeah, there's like a half a dozen names.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing is, Pochettino is right now at the top of, every time an opening comes up, Pochettino's name is there. So, and if you consider he hasn't won anything He's never won anything, but his name is there. It says a lot. I think he's definitely on the radar for Madrid, 100%.
Why do you think it's like? What do you think it says about? Because I have a theory. Like, remember Brad Stevens? Everyone loves him, and we all think because he's very on television, he comes off as very, very professional, right?
Okay, so you think it's
there's a bit of it, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but does it necessarily overvalue him? I'm not sure. I don't know.
Yeah, okay.
Because I can point to certain things that he hasn't been able to win the big game when he's played his big team in the FA Cup in Wembley last year against Man United, against Chelsea, even now against was it Wembley or was it Chelsea? Right? Okay, maybe let's throw it this year because he didn't have Harry Kane, he didn't have Dele Alli, but certainly in the big domestic matches,
you don't remember a moment where he really come up like big.
Yeah, when he went for it.
Okay.
Even though you want to say he doesn't have the best squad, but he had a good first team. They lost.
Okay.
Sorry, and even that year against Leicester City. Remember that they were chasing Leicester City.
Yeah.
Didn't do too well. They lost a few points towards the back
wheels
end.
fell off the last 7 games.
A lot of discipline issues and
then
stuff.
Chelsea killed them. Chelsea killed them off. Yep. Killed off their.
But they had discipline issues. Remember, they were a young squad. So, like, I wonder. He's a very good manager, but is he slightly overvalued because he's a very good demeanor, right? Like, it's like the anti-Mourinho. I do like to hear him talk. So, but is he better than he's actually will give you? I don't know about that.
So I understand what you're saying, and that's why, when I said the word pedigree before, I was hesitating a bit. But the thing is, I think a lot of people give a lot of credit to Pochettino for bringing up a Spurs team who, from the time he got there to the time now, I don't think anyone could have predicted how well they've done.
I agree.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
and also Madrid do have. It's not unusual for them to hire coaches who haven't won anything.
Yeah.
They got in Juan de Ramos at the time. They got in Pellegrini from Villarreal at the time.
Yep.
So
came close but didn't win.
Yep.
So
they got Bernd Schuster who didn't.
Yeah, they got Bernd Schuster.
They've gone through many millions of managers.
Yeah, but like. If the argument is that, oh no, Madrid will only look at coaches who have been historically successful.
Look at Zidane.
I think that's not true at all. No, but Zidane is a different case. Zidane is a different case.
He came through the system.
Yeah, right? Zidane knows the club inside out. So that's a different case.
That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, this is forget about Real Madrid. I'm saying, is he slightly overvalued because
I don't think so.
demeanor?
I think he's valued.
I mean, potentially. I think a name that comes to my mind as being someone who everybody thought was the second coming of the Messiah, who didn't really work out as well, was Andre Villas-Boas.
Right.
Took over from Mourinho at Porto, did well with Porto, then started, getting in line for the big jobs. Eventually took Chelsea, went to, I can't remember where
Tottenham,
he went.
Is it?
He was at Spurs, but I think he was at somewhere just before that as well. He, at the time as well, if I remember correctly, he was also in line. He was also talked about as potential for Real Madrid and all that sort of stuff. And now he's managing. I don't know, like
but I
somewhere.
think it's different to have managed at Porto versus managing.
He's managing in the Chinese Super
Your
League
point is
recently.
a good one. That he did take Tottenham from wherever they were, to contending in the top four, given the budget constraints and so forth. But my question is, can you win the big game when you have pretty much similar resources? Can you win it? So is he a good tactician?
Yeah.
That I'm not sure.
Yeah. And the argument against that, I guess, is that, or rather his argument, I guess, would be, well, I don't have the resources to... If you give me the resources to win these games, I can win these games. And that will be his argument. And I think you're right. Any manager appointment is a risk. But I think that he's definitely in the frame. I think that he himself is keen on it based on what he said.
Yeah.
And I think that, if Madrid comes and knocks on his door and says, even come for an interview, like, he'd do it in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
In a heartbeat.
He has managed. Didn't he manage at Espanyol?
Yeah, he did.
Right. So he's and he played in La Liga, right? So he speaks Spanish, right?
Yeah.
So he can fit.
Dude, he trained under Marcos Bielsa.
Okay. Yeah.
And he's one of his
But the question is,
proteges.
ultimately, it's really going to be two guys.
Yeah.
Florentino Perez and Sergio Ramos.
Yeah.
Do they get along with him? Do they like him? Because one of the
I wanna
two
quickly
can have
turn off this bit, because what I've noticed is from Madrid don't really like taskmasters. They haven't done too well. The squad.
I don't know. Perez said that he will welcome back Mourinho with open arms.
Yeah. Oh, well, I don't think
That's what he
that's
said.
going to rub Sergio Ramos the right way.
But
at
Perez
all.
and Sergio Ramos are sort of clashing as well.
Yeah. It's fuck Madrid. Anyways.
No, but regardless, I think look, so Poch
Yeah.
leaving or going?
I think it's leaving.
Leaving or
and-
going? You mean leaving or staying?
Oh, sorry, leaving was saying. Yeah.
Oh, right.
Are you done or are you done?
Yeah, I think he has the. It's not going to get any better at Tottenham,
Yeah, I agree.
I
right?
agree.
Given Levy, I don't know what is going on there.
Dude, he's looking at
So-
the books. We just got a new stadium, bruh.
Even in general, though.
No, the one
Yeah,
thing that
yeah.
might be going
But
for
he
him.
signed Kane a six-year
The one
contract.
thing that might be going for him is he wants to open. I don't know. Are they going to open up the new stadium this year or next year? I don't know what's happening
It's
there.
for next season.
It's for next
Okay,
season. Yeah.
so that might be the only thing that might sway him to stay, right? Because he wants to sort of christen the new stadium.
yeah.
But given the job openings, I think
I don't think
it's such a unique case.
It's quite
that,
easy to way. You could like
But
christen a
there
new stadium
is-
or take a Real Madrid job. I think you would take the Real
No,
Madrid
I agree,
job.
but I wouldn't put it past it because he does love truly. Seems to me from the outside,
Yeah.
he seems to really love these players.
I think I read an article.
and,
The
and
same
it
article.
sort of weighs. It will probably weigh on him. Hey, listen, I don't want to be the one abandoning you to join a much bigger
Don't worry,
club.
he won't abandon them because they go Madrid. He'll buy them all. He'll bring them with him.
Yeah, really Kane and Ali. Yeah. All right. Anyways, let's close that out. Let's move
Peter,
to Chelsea.
No,
What's your
Poch.
take?
I actually think he's going to stay. I see him staying.
You think he stays?
I think he stays. I think he stays for another
One more season.
Yeah.
But the job is going to be filled. Well, you could.
The way I look
yeah.
at it is that I think, because from what I read, like you say, I think he's a very nice guy, and he takes this role as a, he really respects the role he has at Tottenham.
But the players
the
will
way-
understand if he's
I
going to
know,
go
I
to
know,
Real
I
Madrid
know,
or
but
Man
ju-
United.
just let
I
me
mean, let
finish.
him do his thought,
please.
and then yeah.
I think he has that affinity with the club, and I think he will stay. And if next season, if it takes a dip, then he will leave. And I still think just having one bad season, depending how bad it is, obviously, I think other clubs will still be in for him. But I think if the Real Madrid job comes in, I think he's dropping everything and he's going to Real Madrid. Anyways, let's move on to
And
Chelsea.
Have we gotten your thoughts?
I think
Justin?
I said at the start, which I think his stock is at an all-time high.
Yeah.
I think for his own selfish reason, he has to leave, and
So,
he has to go
but
to a bigger
both of
club.
you think if he's going to go, he's going to go Real Madrid,
Yeah.
right? I'm not saying he's not going to go. I think there's slightly higher chance that he goes to United. That's just my take.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now on to Chelsea. We have to
Yeah.
go really quick because I want to save a big pathway for United.
Yeah.
So Sarri, he had his wobbles recently. Let's bring up what the
They've
past
dropped
results.
Many points.
What,
right?
what do you think about that press conference?
Him slamming his players.
Yeah, through the interpreter as well. I got to say that's
Yeah,
that's an
that's
important
a bad-
important part.
Yeah.
That's an important part.
Okay, can you just brief, because I haven't followed, maybe I should, but just quickly, what did he do?
Nothing. He just says that his players lack the motivation to win games.
Yeah.
Okay.
But then after he said
Did he
that,
name players individually?
No,
No.
he didn't.
Okay.
After
He was very angry though. He was very angry.
This is after the
this is
Arsenal-
coming on the
Arsenal loss.
after the Arsenal loss. Okay.
And he did it twice. He did it once in the post-match interview after
Yeah.
they lost, and he did it in
The
the pre-match
pre-match.
interview for the next game. And
Yeah.
both times, he said, "I've brought the interpreter with me because I want to speak in Italian because I want to be precise with my words."
Yeah. And then
Right.
after Chelsea knocked Tottenham out, they interviewed Hazard, and Hazard says, "I don't care what he said." Something along the
Something
lines.
along
so
those
I-
lines. Yeah.
I don't really listen to what he says. Something along those lines.
Okay.
So there's maybe a bit of tension there, and I think Sarri's been ever since that, I can't remember that loss where he slammed Kante for not knowing how to play Sarri ball. That was the start where Chelsea started looking a bit shaky. Even though they'll win some games, they start looking a bit shaky in every game. You see, if you look at the results, 2-1, 2-2 in the Europa League, 2-1 against Brighton, 1-0 against Bournemouth. It's like all real tight margins that
No,
lost
that's
to Leicester.
fine. It's just the losses that's a killer.
Yeah,
dropping
but
points.
you know what I mean? Like at the start of the season, they were beating teams 3-0. They're putting them away. Now it's a bit shaky, and it was coming. Everyone's blaming was at during that run. They were blaming it's Morata. They didn't have a good forward. They're
Which is
playing
true.
Hazard, and they're playing Hazard as the false nine.
Yeah.
And then Sarri was saying it's the
I have
best
no
way-
choice,
I have
pretty
no-
much.
Yeah, I have no choice. But the way he coded it was like
Yeah.
it's the best team, best balanced team in his opinion. Then come the transfer window, Morata now heading to Atletico, and they brought in Higuain, who flourished under Sarri when he was at Napoli. Had a record-breaking season. I think 36 goals in 35
Probably
games.
the best season of his career, and that includes his time in Madrid, in my opinion.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens.
Is he
now.
going to play? He has. I know.
He
I
came
saw
on.
him
He came on. He
oh,
came
did
on for against Sheffield Wednesday. For I think he played.
Okay, but that's
minutes.
Sheffield Wednesday is like not a Premier League club.
Yeah, I know, but like
the next game is against
Bournemouth.
Okay, so that's when we expect Higuain to play in earnest, right?
Yeah, and I personally think I think he will struggle because Higuain is not known for his hold-up play, and that's why one of the reasons why Morata struggled. Morata came on the scene all right because they were playing a lot through balls to him. Then when I watch him play, I know what he struggles at. He struggles at when he's forced
You're
to
talking
hold
about
up.
Morata, right?
Yeah, Morata.
Yeah.
That's why Giroud does kind of better than Morata, right? Wouldn't you say?
No, he's really good hold-up play.
Hold-up play.
Even
yeah.
if he doesn't score a goal or has an assist, he just holds the ball up really
and
well.
he does well.
And he gives you a target.
Yeah, he's an
up front.
effective player. Whereas Morata is more of like, playing with his front towards goal, making those runs on the edge of the shoulder of the defender, So I think I don't know if I'll be very surprised if Higuain, scores more than 15 goals in the remaining.
I mean, there's only
games.
15 games left.
Yeah,
Okay, 10 goals. 10 goals. More than 10 goals.
It depends where they come from. If he gets 4 goals against Sheffield United, as an example, against the FA Cup 5th round, that doesn't count to me.
No, I'm talking about Premier League.
I think 10 goals in 15 games is like
very good.
It's very, very good.
Yeah, but like you got a forward like that to hopefully get you those goals, right?
I mean, an average return for a striker would be like goal every 2 games.
I'm with you. Like, I'm not a fan of Higuain at all.
Yeah.
Now, I didn't see what happened in Napoli. Maybe they built the offense around him.
No.
But this should, Chelsea is built around Hazard going forward.
Yeah.
And it's whether he's able to play off it, or Hazard's able to play
Hazard's
off
best
of
roles on the left. We all know it.
Higuain.
Hazard's best roles on the left.
And Hazard is really good at having a target to play
Target
with.
man. Yeah,
Diego
to take-
Costa,
yeah.
Olivier Giroud.
Yeah.
I don't see Higuain to be that person.
Yeah.
To be that
Which
player.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm in agreements, in agreements with you.
Thanks, Harry. So, what about you, Justin? What do you think?
I think I think what's happening at Chelsea is very interesting.
Yeah.
Because what is happening now really is almost exactly the same thing that happened to Jose Mourinho and the same thing happened to Antonio Conte. Is that there seems to be a group of players in Chelsea that
Hold the power.
that run the club.
Yeah.
Right? And when they've decided that, we don't want to play for this manager anymore, they just
don't perform.
And they get the manager out. I'm now.
Is it the same players?
Yes,
I think it's always the same. It's Hazard. Hazard's
definitely a leader in that. I would. I have
who
no
else
idea.
is in that
I have
group?
no idea, but I would think
David Luiz.
David Luiz is
I
in there
knew it,
as
I
well.
knew-
I think David Luiz is in there as well. And
Willian.
I'm not sure how influential Willian is with the.
Willian
team
was the
today.
guy who, when they won the FA Cup, he put all the championship trophy emojis on Conte.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
What do you do?
He posted a photo on his social media and then he basically covered Conte with a champion. Basically removed him out the photo, kinda.
So he's not fond of him, even though they won. You're talking about last year's FA Cup, right?
So Willian is one of those players. Even though he didn't get along with the manager, he performed really well. For
Yeah,
him.
but I think Hazard is probably that leader, that influential leader.
Hazard's an asshole.
Yeah, but for the fact that it's happened to now three managers.
Yeah.
But do we know that for a fact?
No, it seems like it. How can it happen 3 times?
Look, but I don't know if that's the case. Do we know this? Is this coming out of reporting that, hey, the players aren't... players aren't happy when they lose. So they lost in the 3rd season of Mourinho. They started losing the 2nd season of Conte, and they're losing now. So they might not be happy, but maybe some of their eye is directed at the manager. But is it always the case that they are trying to undermine the manager? I don't know that.
I think that the thing that screams out at me for probably Hazard being one of those guys is that in Mourinho's 3rd season, Hazard was nowhere, right? He was no one. In Conte's 2nd season,
He was still the best player.
Hazard was their best player in the first season, he's the best player Chelsea has had.
Yeah.
But it seems that whenever he doesn't want to play for a manager, he just disappears. The same thing has happened with Sarri. Remember when Hazard came back from the World Cup? He was killing it at Chelsea.
No, but what's the cause? Is it because he's not getting he's not been playing in the right position with the right players, and that's not his? Because I've seen flaws in him.
I just think
or is it, and that's causing him to sort of rebel, or is it because, hey, I'm down in tools because I just don't like being here?
No,
do you understand?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if the question is I don't like being here, but maybe it's because he doesn't agree with the way he's being played. This like Sarri's playing him in this false nine position. He doesn't like that position.
No. I'm
right?
with you. I agree with you.
And maybe Conte demands a bit more defensive from him, and he doesn't want to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Maybe
he made that clear,
maybe he doesn't like the training methods. Maybe he doesn't like the man management methods. I'm not sure, but it reminds me of. I mean, obviously, I think there are parallels to the player power so-called at Real Madrid.
Yeah.
But the thing that makes me think it's become more of an issue is because this is the third time it's happened.
Yeah.
To consecutive managers. And
I agree.
I think that it then becomes a case for a higher management and Roman Abramovich, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like, all right, we have two choices here. We blow up the squad and we rebuild it. We get rid of the quote-unquote toxic players. Or, again, we try to go again. We find another manager who can work with him. By the way, Hazard might not even be at Chelsea next season.
Real Madrid, dude. That's been the news all over the last 3 seasons, and I think this is the year where he leaves.
Is there any question being asked on Hazard? In other words, he is a full-on player, and now maybe the manager's not using him properly, but why is it him who's always having problems with the manager as well?
Why is it Ramos is always having a problem with the manager?
But they're winning. You're talking about Sergio Ramos?
Yeah.
Maybe not the league. They've been winning the Champions League. Right now, he's having problems because they're not winning. Now, he hasn't performed. He's not being utilised properly. I agree with that. But part of if you want to be a great player, then you just go out and play. Like, why is it that you can't be a false nine?
Maybe he's just not good at it.
Maybe he's not the superstar that we'll think he is. And
you could say that.
Yeah, I'm a big.
But I think what you're saying is it's regardless of the fact, right? I think it's regardless, right? He's the best player at Chelsea, and the thing is that isn't that a problem if maybe, or I guess, is it a problem if it seems that there is a bit of player power in the dressing room when they decide we're just going to give up on the manager, and then what will happen is that we'll get our way.
We'll get a new,
We'll just get a new manager.
So is the problem? I guess it's a problem all around. But is the problem? Are you saying the problem is on the player, the coach, or the owner?
No, but that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like in terms of like higher management and Roman Abramovich, who is the owner,
he has to look at it.
Will have to make a decision,
Yeah.
which is okay. We can do two things. One, we blow up the squad.
Yeah.
Right. We sell
just by getting rid of Hazard because he seems to be the one.
Basically, we blow up the squad for Sarri to get his man.
Basically,
Sarri's way or the players' way.
We let the so-called quote unquote toxic players go, the ones that influence the dressing room the wrong way.
Yeah.
We let them go. We use their money. We invest
is it
somewhere
just
else.
Hazard? Because I'm not.
It'll probably be a group of them.
It'll be a pool of players.
Okay.
But there'll probably be a leader, right?
Yeah.
It's like in Madrid, we know the leader is Ramos. Right, there's a group of players, and we know, and at Madrid at the time, we know that there's the Brazilian contingent, and there's the continental contingent.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So, it's a difficult one because
we don't know what goes behind the scenes.
I think regardless, Chelsea need to rebuild the squad. Regardless,
yeah.
Even if they do well this season, they still need to rebuild the squad.
They have a lot of dead weight. Like
it's an aging squad.
Gary Cahill,
but rather it's an aging squad.
He's out of there.
It's an aging squad.
It is aging,
and they need regardless. Even if they win the league this season, I think they still need we need to revamp this squad.
Yeah, no, I
agree. It'll be interesting to see if what happens, whether trust is placed in the manager.
I'll just say this: if Hazard leaves, that will be the signal for the rebuild, and they'll keep Sarri. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah, Sarri isn't without faults too, but I wonder if Hazard. Look, he comes off as pretty charming, right? On from television interviews, like he's a.
No,
I don't really think so.
Well, I think players gravitate towards him. One, he's perhaps the best player, probably is the best player.
No, I think if you've seen the interviews, he's like the lad's lad. He gets off.
No, he's likable.
That's what within the guys, but he's not likable for a fan.
I can understand how he could get a lot of players on his side,
Yeah.
right, to pull against the manager.
Yeah, but-
partially because he's the best player, so he has a lot of cachet. But I wonder if he isn't. If it's not just him, if it's only him and everyone else
No,
is sort
obviously
of
it
just
can't just
going
be
along.
one. It'll be
Yeah,
be a
it
group,
can't
but
just be one, it'll be a group.
It looks like he's the ringleader.
Yeah.
I haven't heard that. Like, I just haven't heard this sort of toxic player the way that, say, United has had. Or
Well, but you also haven't heard that Sarri came out in the press conference and talked and spoke Italian and all this other stuff. So
Yeah.
maybe it's because you haven't been following that closely.
no, I haven't followed that. I agree, but I'm not even sure Conte had issues with necessarily a ring of players. I don't know about that. He might just had
Ah, no,
specific issues.
It was very clear.
Yeah.
Was it?
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
On to Arsenal. Apparent management issues, fresh off the press actually, management issues behind the scenes. So recently Unai Emery came out and I think he was a bit upset saying that, oh yeah, I was just told that I don't have a budget for January. I can only sign players on loan. And the only player that have been linked with this offseason has been Dennis Suarez, which hasn't been completed yet.
Perisic has come up. But I
And
don't think
Perisic as well.
Inter will let Perisic go on loan. That's the
Of course not. Yeah. And so,
No, but Perisic has told Inter he wants to leave.
oh really?
Yeah,
He finally said it.
New news.
Oh, because at the start of the season he said, I won't leave unless...
Yeah, no, he's told it in the past few days. Yeah, he's told it in the past few days.
And yeah, Inter's not been doing that well, I think, in the Serie A.
They have their own management problems.
Yeah, so, and there's that. And I think Ozil's not been playing, the most well-paid player next to Aubameyang. I think the team went through a mini rebuild at the start of this season, and I think next summer transfer window will mark the second phase or maybe the completion of what Unai Emery wanted, if they get the money, of course.
So it's only mid-season,
It's
that
mid-season.
he can't spend any money?
We don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, but it doesn't bode well.
It doesn't
No,
go
it
well.
doesn't.
Yeah.
No.
That especially now he's come out just this week and said, "I've just been told."
Yeah.
It's like,
I mean-
we're in the final week of the transfer window.
And
Right.
we just got
Like, shouldn't
beaten
you
by
ta-
Man
like-
United, and it looks like Man United might take a spot in the top 4.
But it's like,
yeah.
if the club knows that you can only sign players on loan, don't you tell the manager before the transfer window opens? Like, it's
Yeah.
a final week of the window.
My God.
And because it's only really his second window, he should be allowed to buy some players in order to shape his squad the way he wants it to be too, right?
I think that's what he
I
expected.
mean,
because-
as a new manager.
Yeah.
because you're as an incoming manager, you don't want to rock the boat too much. You see what you have. Usually, you see what you
Yeah,
have.
you try to assess as much
You try
as
to
you
assess
can.
what you have.
Generally, you need 3 windows, right?
Yeah, 3, 4.
Three
yeah.
windows, three,
look,
four
Look at
windows.
Pep and Klopp.
Ha-
you know, they
ha-
took
having
multiple
having said
windows.
that, like Jan as it is already a difficult time to buy and sell. Now you're adding this loan only sort of thing, and it's like,
Who wants to loan you players?
At least tell me that earlier.
How do you get quality players?
Yeah, it does
You
not
know?
bode well. Does not bode well. And there's also the issue of Sven Mislintat leaving, who was, I guess, the de facto director of football, was brought in a few seasons ago. I think along with Emery, if I'm not wrong, because they wanted to bring it. No, maybe in Wenger's last season. I can't recall.
After Wenger left, they did a bit of a mini restructure and they hired Emery.
Yeah,
on board.
so a guy who was very highly regarded in the football world,
Yeah.
from Dortmund to identify talent, bringing talent into Arsenal. Apparently, he's leaving, not on good terms. Apparently,
Yeah.
Felt like he's been a bit undermined recently at the club, and also maybe that higher management don't feel that he's made the right signings or done the right transfer dealings or whatever. So
I mean, I think the Arsenal players that they've signed so far have been doing quite well.
I mean,
The players that they signed in the last window, they've been well.
so it seems from outside, but for whatever reason, and this is still very unclear, I think, to a lot of general public and the media as well. There's some shit going down at Arsenal in terms of the management of the organization, and I don't know if it's too easy the story, but it seems to be flowing through onto the pitch.
Okay. We'll see. I think
So Arsenal top 4.
Don't think so.
I don't think so, man.
They-
We'll shape up the table at the end because we're going. Let's just move on to the last story because we're running out of time, and I want to save as much time for the real story of today. Let's talk about
Let's go United then.
Let's talk about our team, Manchester United.
Oh, hold on. 2 of the 3.
Yeah,
are
okay,
sitting at
okay,
this
yeah.
table.
Harry wants to distance himself. Okay, it's just me and
No,
Justin.
It's not I'm distant. I'm not a United fan in the
No,
first
I
place,
understand,
so
I
I'm
understand,
not
I understand,
too
I understand. That's what I'm trying to say.
I will give the neutral perspective.
Cool.
The objective perspective.
Cool story. Anyways, so Mourinho got sacked.
Since the last time he didn't just get
Since the
sacked.
last time
Yeah.
we've talked.
All of us.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer came in. I think much to everyone's surprise. I think
the sacking itself was a surprise, which in terms of how quickly it was done, and the fact that I think a vast majority of people thought that it would only happen in a season.
Yeah.
And also, you're right. I think the appointment itself was done so quickly, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was. I don't think, if people said if Mourinho got sacked today, who would come in tomorrow? I don't think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer
no one would have said it. Yeah.
Would have been on a lot of people's minds.
Yeah, they would have been like going out like after the managers who are not at work right now. Probably, I think.
I think
As a caretaker manager, I think he was sort of highly touted.
No,
his name was up
actually
there.
it was Laurent Blanc. It was Laurent Blanc.
Laurent Blanc, Zidane.
But they weren't caretaker managers,
even
though.
Gary Neville, Ryan Giggs,
Steve
guys who have
Bruce.
been closer and who have
And managed before,
and potentially
not them.
potentially
It was-
Michael Carrick.
It was no.
Carrick certainly was
The
one of
bookies'
the names.
bookies' favorite were Laurent Blanc and another ex-Manchester United player who's coached in the Premier League before. I think it was either Steve
that?
Bruce or
Okay.
someone else. And I think they were a bit. There was
I think Solskjaer was a bit out of
left field. It was
Bit
a
out
bit
of
left
left
field.
field.
Yeah, because he managed Cardiff and didn't do too well over there.
and I think it's primarily because of the fact he had a job.
And molded. Yeah,
Like, he had a job.
Exactly. No, but also it's when the bookies' favorite were players former players who've played for United and managed in the Premier League before, and that was like Steve Bruce, Laurent Blanc. I didn't think Laurent Blanc managed before, but Laurent Blanc managed PSG, big teams, big teams.
French national team
French national team
is out of job as well.
Yeah, he was out of the job, and I think we've all read the media and we know that the narrative is so far Solskjaer is still earmarked as a caretaker and warming the seat for Poch based on the news, but so far from what I'm seeing, I have a feeling that I don't think they're really lined up Pochettino. I think the way United have. I think actually United planned the sacking, because
Of course, I mean you can't get Solskjaer in that quickly without having.
I think they
planning.
planned that they were going to sack him after Liverpool, regardless of the results, because they wanted to set it up. If you looked at the fixture list, right, they wanted to give this new manager
soft spot in the schedule.
Yeah, soft spot in the schedule to kind of get a run going.
build into it.
In hindsight, how the Mirror reported that they were going to sack Mourinho regardless of the result after, was it Newcastle?
Oh, yeah.
In hindsight, I look back, I think they would have, except for the fact they came back, the way they came back. Because that was a hard part of the schedule. And that would have also cushioned the incoming manager to say, hey, listen, you're going to lose against Chelsea. You're going to lose against Man City and Juventus anyway.
Yeah. Then
So
he started,
looking
he
back,
drew Chelsea, and then he...
yeah, and then
yeah.
it sort of delayed the inevitable. And I think looking back, remember how Martial actually accepted the deal? Or there was reported to have accepted the deal to stay?
he doesn't have a new contract yet.
No, it was just an activation of a clause in his contract.
Okay, so is he... I think I read somewhere, maybe I read
No, he hasn't
erroneous reporting
activated.
back then, 2 months ago, that he was happy to stay. And the way I read it was because he was still in the doghouse then.
No, he's discussing a new deal today.
Okay,
but-
so back 2 months ago, was there some sort of...
There's a clause in his contract
His
which
bonus,
extends it
his
by a year.
Yeah, the club activated the club option to extend it by 1 more year. That's it.
Okay, so he didn't have a say in that.
No.
So
No.
it was erroneous reporting then.
I mean, I don't know what you read, but
I read it
what's
somewhere
happening
in
now
reputable
is
source.
the
Okay.
news now is that he's close to signing a new deal.
Okay.
So the odds, I'm just looking at the caretaker odds. Even Gareth Southgate was in the running.
Yeah, I heard that. And
That was
no, that's today. That's today. Gareth Southgate is right today, and I think that would be a terrible appointment.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Terrible appointment because
Oh
he
yeah,
doesn't
no,
have
sorry,
Manchester
I'm trying to
United,
find the right
pedigree.
one.
yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
it's Gareth Southgate.
Oh yeah,
What,
so
you don't think highly of him? as
No,
a manager?
Laurent Blanc was the favorite. Zidane was the second, and then Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was the third favorite actually. Okay,
So,
so
come again. Who's the
Is
first
this
again?
is this at the
favorite
time?
was Lauren
Is
Blanc.
this at
This
the
is
time?
at the time.
Oh, at the
Who will
time,
replace-
okay.
Who will place?
Yeah, so
Jose Mourinho?
okay, so I might have got the Martial facts wrong, but I got this right, where his name was sort of floated up there as a
Who?
caretaker manager.
Who?
No.
Solskjaer, right?
Oh, yeah. I
No, but
didn't
this
know.
was after the firing, right?
Yeah, this
One
was
of the things,
after firing.
like I said before, like if you ask a United fan before, if Mourinho left, who would come in? I don't think many people would say Solskjaer.
I'm gonna tell you
No,
something
but
really
I think
funny.
that wasn't the caretaker manager; it was a permanent manager, right?
Yeah, this is just a funny stat. Nicky Butt has a higher odds than Rafa Benitez, Roberto Martinez, and Didier Deschamps.
Well, Nicky Butt's a youth coach.
Yeah, okay.
He's
but
in the
like,
system already.
Is this the caretaker or permanent? The odds for the
Caretaker.
okay, so these were sort of 2 weeks ago, whatever it was. Sorry,
Yeah,
sorry,
a
2
few
months
weeks-
ago.
Yeah, 2 months ago.
Okay. Anyway,
But anyways, let's
regardless,
get
I
back
think we're
to
getting
story.
hung up. I'm getting hung up.
So, let's dig into Mourinho. So what went wrong? Third season slump. They couldn't.
I think the players just
Didn't
didn't.
we talk about it?
Yeah. To be honest, I don't want to talk too much about this because I feel that that's not the main story anymore.
Okay, then you know what? Let's go on let's forget Mourinho. Let's talk about.
I thought we'd sort of mention this in a few.
Yeah, we did
episodes
that
ago.
Mourinho.
Okay.
Pogba episode.
I think there's really two questions.
Okay,
There are really two questions.
let's go there.
And
Two
one is the
questions.
big one.
You want to go big one last?
Will Solskjaer get the job?
What's your second one?
The second one is, if your answer is no,
Who will get
it, or what will it take for him to get it?
I think he will. And I want him to as well. So there's two. I think he will, and I want him to.
Is that your answer?
Yeah,
the final
both.
answer?
Yeah.
Care to elaborate or no?
Well, it seems the players really like the way he coaches. I think another reason why it might work is also because the fans love the idea. They've always loved the idea. They've always seen
Yeah,
like
that's
Ryan
true.
Giggs they wanted Ryan Giggs as the next coach. Remember when he was a caretaker replacing is it David Moyes for the last 3 games? Fans loved it. So they've always seen they always wanted a United man, so to speak.
Or rather, one of the essentially
Fergie
someone who
slash
learned
Wings.
from Fergie to bring it on.
Yeah. And it seems like, okay, you if you realize watching football for a long time, you realize that a lot of clubs are run very differently, right? Some clubs you need a taskmaster. Some clubs you need a hard man. Some clubs you just need a man manager. For example, like Madrid. Before Zinedine got hired, they had who did they have?
Benitez?
Was it Benitez before Zidane? Yeah, okay, Benitez before Zidane. And the players hated it. Because they hated the way Benitez was like, all these boring ass drills,
Known to be a taskmaster. as well.
taskmaster, focused on organization rather than letting
Organization,
the players express themselves. Then when Zidane came in, I don't think all of you would say, oh, Zidane is a tactical masterclass.
Yeah.
All he came to do was just, just make sure all the players were, in the right mental state to perform. Good management, motivation. You could see the Champions League halftime talk where he was in there. He didn't say anything too defensive. He just say, all right, you got to up the intensity, press a bit harder. Come on, we're Real Madrid. We have to go in. And the players get pumped up just like that. Okay, if you want to focus more on United, when Solskjaer came in, they asked him, like, do you think your job's hard? Well, the job's not hard because I have good players. All I have to do, he says this consistently. My job here is to, they know all of these players are real talented. All I have to do is make sure they're in the right state to perform for the club. Yeah, I teach them a few patterns and everything, but at the end of the day, it's up to them to go out and play. Obviously I have to look out for what the opponents do, and that's what he's consistently saying. And then if you want to talk about whether he wants the job, I think he said it on the record that he really wants the job. So. And obviously, I think the thing that will push him over the line is if he gets in the top 4. I think
That's it?
yeah, that's it. If he gets knocked out at PSG, but he still gets in the top 4, I think he'll get the job.
Really? Okay.
Name us out for the first leg, by the way.
Yeah, I know. And you know what?
He is? Injury?
Injury.
Yeah, and you want to know something?
Okay.
PSG, what I realized, PSG doesn't have a proper midfield. They've been playing their wing players in midfield because they've dropped out. The manager has fallen out. Tuchel has fallen out with Rabiot, and Verratti is injured as well. So I'm not saying we'll win.
But PSG is all about the front three.
Yeah,
They're all about the
agreed.
front three.
But without Neymar, Neymar was the reason why they beat Liverpool. He had that man of the match performance, and he tore Liverpool.
I think we
apart.
sort of talked about it. I sort of think, looking back in hindsight, I think just the matchup was perfect for PSG.
Yeah, it
Because
could
of
be.
the speed they have on the front three and the way that Liverpool play. And
Yeah, fair
they
enough.
just counter with speed. Sorry, Harry.
Okay, if you're asking me, I don't think. No, what was the question? Should they or will they?
Both.
Should.
I don't think they should, and I don't think they will. Now, things could change. They could really go on a run, and I think it takes more than the top four. I think it takes.
They're already on a run, though.
Yes, I would say
I'd say 8 out of 8 is a pretty good run.
Yeah.
7 of those 8 they should have won. Now, that is much better than before, right? Granted that they weren't winning games that they should be winning. Right now, they are
7
winning.
out of 8. You mean 6? You mean
7 out of the 8 they were favoured, right? They should have won.
you mean against Tottenham and against Arsenal away?
Was Arsenal
Away in the FA Cup? They were favourite against that? I don't think so.
I think so.
Really?
I mean,
think
but
they have-
regardless, 8 out.
Okay.
Okay, 8 out. Sorry,
No,
go.
this is important because I think part of it is the fact that he's not Mourinho, that he is not a hard taskmaster, and the players are being free from being suppressed, right?
Yeah.
But
Suppressed.
Right.
No, and there's also you have to understand that a lot of these half the squad came from the Fergie days, and the players who come from the youth system come from the same kind of system where you're supposed to express yourself, play with high intensity. And I think Mourinho, you can make the case that Mourinho didn't get the players he wanted, which granted, I agree. Like, we talked about this previously. So, Solskjaer seems to just fit philosophically, which is why I think he's a good fit for the club.
we don't know anything about his philosophy other than to say, let's just go play have joy. I'm not going to sort of breathe down your neck. I will tweak a little bit, play Pogba up the field a little bit more, which seems to be the master stroke, right? I mean, I think most people would be able to do that except for Mourinho. So I just think that the reason why I say they won 7 of those games they should have won, which is not an uneasy thing to do. Is that the right phrase? In other words, it's not easy to do.
Yep.
Is it not difficult? Whatever. The point is, it's still impressive.
Yeah.
But the one game they did win against the odds, where they were not favoured, was against Tottenham, and Tottenham actually outplayed them. It's just that they didn't. It wasn't because of anything that Man United did or didn't do, although you could give an assist to De Gea. It was just that they just lacked finishing.
No, but I thought they defended quite well. The chances that Tottenham had, they had 2 good chances.
No, they had multiple chances, and just it was more because of Harry Kane and Dele Alli couldn't finish.
I'd say there was only
than De Gea
two good
saving.
chances,
The-
and it was
they
the
were
one where
outplayed.
Harry Kane,
Okay.
Harry Kane had a 1-on-1, and where Dele Alli had that 1-on-1.
Okay, regardless, I don't think this matters. Because
I
at the
think
end
it
of the
matters.
day, at the end
I
of
think
the
it
day,
matters is I think we are getting a bit too carried away with the result and not with the. And I think we're not attributing the result as to if Solskjaer's master stroke as a tactician, as a motivator, or these are two different things, as opposed to the fact that, hey, Mourinho's gone, there's a bit of a honeymoon period, there's a soft spot on the schedule. So this is why I said we need to see more if they get on a run against
No, I agree with you.
better
I agree with you.
opposition in perhaps against PSG, against other top 4
Liverpool,
players.
City,
right?
Chelsea, they still have all of that game. all
So
of those games.
I don't think, without knowing, I'm just coming from a distance, you guys know far more than me, I don't think Solskjaer is that great of a manager. And the analogy you make with Zidane falls on 2 fronts. One, Zidane has this charisma. He's a great, great, great player. Solskjaer does not seem to have it. Doesn't mean you need that as a manager. But I think what sets Zidane apart was he was this
He had legendary tales in
figure
Real Madrid.
at Real Madrid, right? A legendary figure in world football.
Okay.
And he has shared the dressing room with some of these players, right? With I think Ramos and with maybe 1 or 2 others, right? And 2, that the Real Madrid players are far superior. Maybe not far, but certainly superior than the United players. And if Zidane could just get out of the way and motivate them and not really necessarily have a tactical sort of masterstroke than Real Madrid could achieve. And I will still say that they only won one league title and they did luck to a couple of Champions League, which we won't get into. But, the jury's out on whether
Sounds like a
Zidane...
Harry's hit and run.
No, the jury's out on
Yeah,
whether
no, we
Zidane
agree.
is actually a good manager,
I'm
full
not
stop.
saying
Forget about
that.
tactician, as a good manager, full stop.
I
Because
completely agree with that.
I
He-
agree with you.
so the analogy to Zidane falls on those two fronts. So therefore, I'm not convinced that Solskjaer is either Zidane or Zidane-like or has the same squad.
I'm not saying it is, yeah.
Yeah. So
No, we
that's why
agree,
I
yeah.
say
I mean,
no.
I
I
agree.
don't think so.
No, okay.
I-
Okay, your turn.
Just coming back to talking about the points you said, there's two things. One, I completely agree with you in the Zidane thing, and that's why when Zidane was touted for the United job, I said no.
We both said no.
He's not proven as a real manager.
Yeah,
right?
not just tactically,
Yeah.
just as overall thing. Because
yeah,
we
yeah,
think
yeah. I
we like
agree.
to-
No,
yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
Right? He's not proven as a real manager. I disagree with you on the fact that, I agree in the sense that, when Zidane comes into the room, he's one of the best to ever play the game.
And he does like the way
Right.
he's dressed.
So he,
I will
so,
say
so he
that
carries he carries a lot of weight in the
Yep.
dressing room. The thing is, Solskjaer at United
Has a
carries a
legendary-
lot of weight.
Yeah.
He himself is a legend at United, and he himself has actually shared the dressing room with a lot of players that are there.
He coached
I know he's.
Pogba,
I know we
Lingard.
say
And-
he's a legend, but I know he scored that great goal. But
No, Harry.
He's
He's not the cream of the crop, but
Right.
in the United.
But you look at
he
the
is.
you look at
he's
the,
well respected. Let's put it that way.
you look at the United squad.
He's a
right?
legend.
A lot of the United squad have been there for a while as well.
Yeah.
A lot of United squad a lot of them as well have come through the ranks.
Yeah.
Pogba is someone that has come through the ranks as well, although he left and came back. But the fact of the matter is, like, in some ways, Solskjaer is like a Pep Guardiola, right? Pep Guardiola in his playing days was a good player. Don't get me wrong, he was a good player. But, he's not a player who people, he
that remembers.
he's
in the Barcelona-
he's
in that
no
Barcelona-
Zidane. He's no Zidane in terms of his aura and
Right, but
the weight they would carry in the
but
dressing
Pep
room.
makes up for it by his managerial genius, right? Like I don't see any signs. Like look at Gary Neville. He's been complimentary to Solskjaer, but he's never said that he is a great manager. He's been complimentary as a teammate. He's been complimentary as a person.
Okay,
as a
so
individual.
if you wait until I
Yeah.
get to, until I get
Finish.
there.
Okay.
So the fact that you say that when Zidane comes in and he is able to motivate because of who he is.
That's
and-
part of the
Okay,
equation.
okay, hold on.
You want me
Just
to turn
because
off
of-
your mic, Harry,
just
and
be-
then finish.
Just
Let's
because of
finish.
who he is, I think that part of the, if you want to compare that part of the Zidane aura at Madrid, I think does exist at United at the current team.
With Solskjaer, you mean?
Yes, I as well agree with you on that tactical portion of it. Although coming off of that Spurs game, it sort of put a little doubt in my mind in terms of like the tactical work that he did. So the goal that United scored, right? If you remember the goal, the ball comes out to Pogba on the left wing.
2 touches.
Pogba takes 2 touches, goes past the man, and hits a ball over the top.
No, as in he just takes the first touch to knock the ball away from the man and take a 2 touch. The second touch.
Whatever.
Okay.
Knocks the ball over the top to Rashford, right? Rashford's playing on the right shoulder of that last defender, right?
The Tongan.
After the game, right? A few days after the game, right? A reporter asked Solskjaer about what he's doing with the squad and how he's getting them to play well, and he talked about patterns.
Yeah.
About, again, coming back to
Patterns,
what you
yeah.
said, Peter, in terms of his job is come in like he and when Harry, you say he doesn't have a philosophy, that's untrue. Because
No,
he's
I don't know if he does or doesn't.
because he's talked very specifically about his philosophy,
Yeah.
right? But when he was talking about patterns, right, and talking about what he needed to do, he spoke about his preparation for that Spurs game.
Yeah.
And he spoke about what they wanted to do in order to win that Spurs game.
Yeah.
And he was talking about these specific patterns that we were playing because we knew we could exploit Spurs.
Yeah.
There was an interview with Pogba on Sky Sports a few weeks later, right? It was one of those like long form interviews, 60-minute interview things. And the reporter asked him about what has Solskjaer done tactically. And Pogba said, that goal against Spurs,
We practiced
said
it.
we worked on that exact routine the whole week because they,
Yeah.
if you don't
They
remember,
practice it.
they went to do their after the game against
Abu Dhabi.
whoever, they went to Dubai to
Dubai,
do
sorry,
warm
yeah.
winter training camp. He said during the entire week they work on that specific pattern,
Yeah.
right? Because they noticed that when Spurs attack, the way that they leave the way that they leave two defenders back
Yeah.
has they push up quite high.
And their Kevin Trippier is really far
Yeah.
advanced.
So because they push up quite high, there's a lot of space in between,
Yeah.
right? So when they defend, he tells Rashford.
To stand
Usually, you
shoulder.
tell Rashford to get back to guard the wings because Spurs they love their wingers. They love
And-
their fullbacks running in from the wings.
And I want to give. Sorry, I was sorry for cutting you off. And that's building into your Pep genius about how like teams can't counter attack well if they have their teams all behind.
Yeah.
That's why they put Rashford up there.
So he told Rashford to stand on the off the defender's last shoulder, and Pogba to stand where he would be. Such when United win the ball in the penalty box, Pogba's the outlet, and Pogba will play that ball over the top. One, because Pogba's the best passer of the ball in United, and he can play that ball at the top. By the way, that ball that Pogba played at the top is difficult to do. It looks easy, but it's very difficult to do.
And Vertonghen was inch perfect because if any lower or whatever, Vertonghen would have got to it.
Yeah. So in terms of like tactics, in fact, I think a lot of the media actually said coming out at Spurs game, there was actually a tactical victory for Solskjaer,
Yeah.
right? Which surprised me because again, I'm not. If you ask me, do you think Solskjaer's a great tactical manager? My answer would probably no, right? Now,
And
having said all of that, the question comes back to will Solskjaer get the job? And for me, I'm still undecided because I totally agree with the point around that it will really depend on performances against bigger and stronger opposition. Solskjaer's philosophy when it comes in, he's like, first of all, he's a very attacking manager.
Yeah.
Right. He even at Cardiff, even at Molde, he plays an attacking style, and his attacking style is also based on speed.
Yeah.
And that's why Lukaku is not starting, right? Because he doesn't like the hold up play. He doesn't like a player that holds up. He wants guys that run.
Yeah.
Right. So that's his philosophy. Attacking with speed. Now,
That's why Fellaini is not even on the bench.
yeah.
Mata's not playing.
Yeah, and there's talk that they're going to sell Fellaini in this window actually.
There was, yeah, but now
Yeah.
he's staying because he's injured.
So now, Solskjaer, I think there's probably a bit more tactical now than I probably gave him credit for at the start.
It's because of that Cardiff job.
And I also think that
Yeah,
Same.
I'm not going to
saying-
hold
I'm saying like you.
one bad result, one bad spell, hold it against him forever.
Yeah,
right?
no. But you asked. Yeah, I think I agree with you with the question you're asking. He hasn't shown enough. I agree.
But I think that there is one thing that Mourinho tried to do that Solskjaer has not solved and will need to solve. And I think it's been United's problem for the past maybe 3-4 seasons.
the defensive pairing.
That's the defense. Like United right now, like Mourinho's philosophy, right, was based more of we built the foundation of our game of a solid defense, right, and we win games by not conceding.
Yeah.
Essentially, that's his philosophy.
Yeah.
Solskjaer's philosophy right now is, we have these great attacking players. I'm going to let them go out. I'm going to let them run. And I'm going to let them attack. We'll work a bit on the defensive side, but that's probably not his priority, right? The fact of the matter is that United are winning games now, but they're still conceding goals, and they're conceding bad goals. I tell everyone, United concede the shittiest goals.
Set pieces.
Not just set pieces, but United concede the shittiest goals. Even the Arsenal, the one against Arsenal,
Ran through three defenders.
yeah, it's a shitty goal to concede. It's a shitty goal, right? But United always concede those sort of goals, right? So in order to bring United back to where they were, Solskjaer will need to address this defensive problem, and because United will definitely get exposed in the Champions League and against the biggest club, the defensive fragility. So that's why for me the jury's still out on Solskjaer because the biggest problem has not been solved.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, all that is, in a tactical speak, is really good. And a lot of it is perhaps even a bit beyond me, right? Because I think you guys know football tactically a bit more than me. What I was saying is I've just taken it less about tactics and it's more about we're reading more into it than I think a lot of people are just by
No, I
sheer
think-
the result.
It's only 8 games.
It's
so
only 8
far.
games, and
There's
7 of
only
the games-
two
I
big games.
I
or
wouldn't
one.
put
You could say one.
Arsenal struggling
Yeah, okay,
because
okay. You
of
could say one
only
or
one game.
two.
And,
One or two.
And you talk about, depending on how the result goes, we fixate on things. If Tottenham had scored, being a bit more clinical, would have been 2-1, 3-1,
2-1.
right?
I would say 2-1. Okay.
Right. So I think the end was 1-0. Was that right?
1-0.
Okay. So that probably wouldn't have been put under the spotlight, that goal, that United goal, right? The talking point would have been, okay, they lost, and here's how Tottenham did. They outplayed United and so forth.
Actually, I'm not sure because in that game, the first half, United were clear winners in the first half,
Yeah.
and Spurs were clear winners in the second half.
Right, but in terms of clear chances, forget about winning and losing with the ball and stuff. In terms of
That's very
chances,
different, right? 'Cause what if Tottenham,
if that game
Tottenham scored 1-0
happened,
and
but if that game was played 10 times, Tottenham probably wins 7 out of 10. 7 or 8 out of 10. United wins maybe 2 or 3 out of 10.
Maybe,
don't
but it's hard
argue
to
that.
say
I
because
don't argue that.
games are consequential, right?
Yeah. I
So
agree. No, I understand.
United go ahead 1-0. They have a great chance in the second half where Lloris saves it onto the bar.
Yeah.
If it's 2-0, right, the game is over, right?
and they might not have created
and-
those
But
chances.
how many of these Tottenham chances that they would have created before they scored that, even the first goal? Like it's a bit.
No,
But my point is,
all the
No.
chances came in the second half.
United won
Okay.
the first. All the chances came
I
in the
think
second half.
De Gea had like one save or
Yeah.
0 saves in the first
In
half.
fact, all the chances came after that Pogba chance where Lloris
Where it
tipped
came off
it
the
onto
bar.
the bar.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah.
Right, but my point is, if you just look at that game, you know that it wasn't because of United. It was just because of lack of clinical finishing that
No, I wouldn't.
your boy Harry Kane is meant to do, and my boy Dele Alli is also meant to do. They just didn't do it.
I think that's
So
okay. That's your point.
it's more about
Alright.
Tottenham than United, wouldn't you say? A fair-minded person would say that.
I mean-
if you look at the game in an objective way, you would say that.
I agree with you. I coming out of the game, I said I thought a fair result would have been the draw, right?
no,
because
I think a fair result would have been Tottenham.
because at the time when Tottenham get all these chances right, United are already playing to close out the game.
yeah, and yet they still
Right.
got these chances.
I mean, but I don't think you understand how it works. It's
If you're
because
closing out the game.
Yeah, because the other team knows that you're not going to attack them.
So
They'll just
that's why
throw
they
everyone
throw-
forward.
yeah.
The game changes.
No, I get
And
that.
you've seen a lot. If you go,
But-
you go watch the highlights.
Go watch
All-
the highlights. Harry Kane.
Don't
and-
watch the
and-
highlights.
and-
Watch the game.
Yeah, I'd watch the full game.
You watched the full
Dele
game?
Alli and Harry Kane had these, I'd say, 3 chances in the goal square.
2 chances.
Okay,
Alright.
that they should have scored, but they just hit straight at.
First of
Okay,
all-
I don't want.
we don't
No
have to
such
get
thing.
into
No
this.
such thing as a goal square. in
What? Sorry,
football.
I got that confused.
6-yard
In the
box.
box, in
6-yard
the box.
box.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe it wasn't the 6-yard, but it certainly was
Penalty
in the
box.
penalty box, right? Sorry, I got that
Okay.
confused with the AFL. So anyone who just watches it, they go, okay, Kane and Ali just hit it straight at. It's a huge goal mouth, right? They just hit it straight at De Gea.
I think that's probably discounting De Gea's contribution a bit, but
No, he did. He's supposed to save those shots. It wasn't because. And by the way, De Gea saving those shots isn't necessarily attributed to the manager, right? You just pencil him in or pen him in and go out. So De Gea playing out of his mind, which he didn't. He was really good. That's not attributable to the manager, right?
no, I agree.
We
Yeah.
we never
I
said
agree.
it did.
Right. So even if you want to attribute it to De Gea match-saving saves, should have used a different word.
Match-winning saves.
Match-winning saves. Match-saving saves, really, because he didn't. Fine, whatever. Then it's not attributed to the manager. But regardless, I still think that we need more. And my gut instinct going forward, admittedly not watching it as closely as you guys, is even if they do well, I don't think people know that. Hey, he's as good of a guy as he is. He doesn't have necessarily the greatest tactical mind. And if you
don't
have
know
an
yet.
opening, you might want to get the best manager available, which is either Pochettino or maybe someone else.
All right,
you
so
think- Okay.
so we actually agree, right? Because I said Jerry's still out.
Yeah.
So we actually agree.
I'm
And I
actually-
said the number one reason is because Solskjaer hasn't addressed United's biggest problem.
Okay.
You're
I-
saying it's defense, right?
I also okay. I think United should, and I think based on the 8 results now, they will. But I agree with you that there's still like a question mark. And
What is the question mark?
The question mark whether he can do it against the big boys.
But
So-
that's all that matters for
yeah,
United, right?
I know.
Yeah.
Wait, can you let me finish? So
Yeah.
in February, that would be the telling point because that's when they have the Champions League on, and that's when they're facing Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea on that same month. So February will be the
I
telling
think you
month.
probably need to wait till season's end. I mean, there's no
Oh
rush.
yeah, season end.
Yeah.
Okay, season end.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah, but
February is like the
Yeah.
I think aside from the fact that he
Truth.
started so well, and I don't think it's just the fact that United have won 8 out of 8. I think it's the manner in which
Yeah.
the wins have come.
even the way they play.
Yeah, there's so much more.
Would you agree with me that
Control and
this is the
confidence.
best football you've seen since Fergie?
But let me ask you
I'll
something.
say that.
How much do you attribute it? Like, in other words, can someone else come in who just knows a little bit about football, who say, hey, let's release the shackles, right? Let's play Pogba up the field, which, again, doesn't take a genius to sort of do. How much... So my point is, how much do you attribute it to Solskjaer? How much was it his genius that no one else could do to unlock that key versus how much could just anyone other than Mourinho, essentially, with a bit of knowledge about football, can actually get those same results?
So
and I think
percentage
it's,
100%?
I don't know why you're arguing when I'm agreeing with you.
No, I'm just... It's to the table.
But I agree with you.
Ah,
I said Jerry's still out.
Okay.
I'm saying.
Like, what do you want me to say? I already told you. This is the third time I'm saying Jerry's still out.
Basically,
Well,
I'll
that's
say
not
this.
quite what I'm saying. I'm just saying... I think
how about you ask for a
most people,
percentage? Ask for a percentage.
Most people with just a bit of knowledge of football can just do a different way, put
Okay. I think a better
play
question.
counter attack with Rashford and Martial on the through the channels.
Okay, I think
And-
a better.
Yeah. So you're saying because of that, you think it's easy to just come in after Mourinho and just get them a play, that the jury's still out on Solskjaer, right? To becoming the permanent United manager.
No.
That's what
I
you're
think
saying,
you want
right?
to say.
I'm saying that it doesn't take a lot, and I'm not. I think the jury is almost closed on Solskjaer.
No, I don't think so.
Okay, maybe
Okay,
it's
that's not
harsh.
fair.
Maybe it's harsh, but I just haven't seen. I just think we're getting too caught
What do
up
you have
with
to
the
see? What do you have to see so the jury is
games.
still out? Then
One is big games, and two, what has he?
how can you say the jury is closed?
Yeah.
Wait, okay. I think a better
Because
question.
no one who knows him well has
Harry,
said
I'm
that he is a great manager. He said they're saying he's a great guy. They're saying he's a legend. They're not saying that. They're still saying, hey, I still want Pochettino in, or I still want someone else in.
I don't think anyone said Wenger was a great manager before he came to Arsenal, and then
That's true.
he did. He came from Japan. What about Mourinho? Mourinho before he came to Porto, he never played professional football in his life. You never know.
That's true.
Right? So time will tell. Okay, time will tell. I mean, okay, if you want to say something like, I don't think he's the one, you could just say it blatantly right now. I don't think he's the one. I think it's easier. You don't have to go into this long route. Just say it. Do you don't think Solskjaer is good enough for the job? Just say it.
I think a lot of the results are attributable to anyone other than Mourinho, rather than Solskjaer specifically.
Okay.
Yeah.
That you could
That's
have done
it.
that long time ago. What are you?
I think Jerry's still out. And maybe, like you said, that February portion will be a big thing. But
Yeah.
like I said, again, the job will depend on how he deals with the defense. Because United are still conceding very bad goals.
I agree, and I think what the kingmaker of this United job, I still firmly believe that Fergie's philosophy is still stuck with the club in a sense, because a lot of players come from the youth team, and a lot of the players came from the Fergie days as well, and they've had success with the Fergie days.
Yeah.
So Pogba is still part of that Fergie furniture from back then. Even though he didn't play under him, he played under the youth system, which Fergie is heavily involved in. And the youth system team is essentially the same. It's still run by the same people.
Actually, I think
That's why Solskjaer, there's no big changes. It's kind of back with the old machine with certain tweaks.
I think there is a bit of a culture that runs through the club that's still influenced by Ferguson. In fact, I think probably one of the most underrated pieces of news about the appointment of Solskjaer was the appointment of the assistant.
Yeah, the assistant Mike Phelan,
Yeah.
who's been Fergie's man over the years after Carlos Queiroz left.
Yeah.
And
So-
what we also shouldn't overlook is a lot of the United, more than any other team, a lot of the United ex-players are on TV, and they drive the narrative.
That's why United are always on the news.
Yeah, that's partially, but also they set the narrative, which may not actually be true, but it just sounds good.
Yeah,
I mean,
could
I don't
be,
mean
could be.
I don't mean they are lying, but when
No,
they
no,
say
you're
that
right.
how United plays this certain way, that's actually not quite what it is. They're just trying
Alright,
to get
I want to
results.
close it
right?
out. The time, I think Justin have to go soon, so I want to close it out
Yeah.
with sidebar news. Paul Scholes is, I think he got the job at Oldham.
What?
Yeah, Paul Scholes is managing now. And I just want to say because
I would think that he would make a terrible manager. I gotta say,
he talks a lot of shit as a pundit, right? Don't you think? I mean,
Well,
he's
I told you I like him as a pundit because he's
now a manager. So let's see what happens.
I don't think he would be a bad manager.
Okay, you think
you
he
do
would be
or
bad?
you don't.
No, he thinks he would be bad. I think I don't know.
You know what I'll say? The jury's out.
All right, thanks guys. Thanks for listening. This is a great episode. All right, goodbye.